Greetings, brothers and sisters. Today, I have a special video for you all. Several different content creators have come here at the Infernal Obelisk to show very unique, very easy and simplistic forms of magic, tutorials, DIYs, all ranging from different subjects, different methods, and different unique styles that everybody here has. I want to give a thank you to all of them, and if you want to check them out, go check out their YouTube channels and various other content. Check down in the link of the description.
Hey, it's EA Koetting. I'm here in my boot camp, and we're about to jump into a ritual evocation of Sunterlok. Now, the way that I want to approach this, I'm here with Chris, and we're going to be doing this together. The way I want to approach this is actually using kind of the fallback of onto Dr. D and Edward Kelly. Dr. D would perform the rituals of evocation, and his assistant, Dr. Edward Kelly, would do the channeling aspect of it. So far, we've seen that you're an excellent channel. Like you can let the spirits come into you. You start talking. You start, and I haven't actually witnessed your speaking in tongues yet, so this will probably be a first. Throughout this ritual, so I'm going to be conducting the ritual that's going to call Sunterlok forth. What I want you to do is bring your attention fully to the triangle and let yourself kind of just pick up whatever's happening in the triangle. And you can take notes on anything that you experience, anything that you see, or you can say it out loud. And if you say it out loud, then it'll kind of be it'll probably start turning into a bit of a two-way conversation with Sunterlok himself. At some point, if I see that you're fully possessed, I'm just going to start talking to you like you're Sunterlok. And so I'll start asking Sunterlok questions through you if you think that you can get to that level of possession. How do you feel about it all? All right, cool. All right, so with that, let us begin the ritual. And so your main task will be just to get in contact with Sunterlok, so you can gaze at the sigil. You can just in any way that you're able to deepen that connection, and then we're going to call him more and more and more. It's interesting. I'm getting a very strong push to use sage to clear the area before he comes. So it's almost like he's royalty and he insists on having the area prepared for him. And you know what? That is perfectly reasonable. Spirits of the air, I call thee forth to cleanse this air, to purify this air, to cleanse this room of all spirits not hospitable to Sunterlok. I purify this triangle of manifestation so that no other spirit but Sunterlok may appear, so that no other spirit may disguise himself as Sunterlok, so that Sunterlok and only Sunterlok may come. Sunterlok, come. Sunterlok, come. The air is cleansed. Now the earth cleansed. Ino shubam gigabsu, kichigagar shagda sisi amaradaya, dingerul kalamasiniku, dinger ninabuyu nexraniku, gaya shu shagmukutu. The ether is cleared. Ether shell. Irritante. Feel the air thickening in here. Getting so thick. It's about to get a lot thicker. 10 times, 9 times thicker at least. 9 times. This is bat's blood oil, but not quite the Anariva kind. It's my own concoction. Pater noster, que es in abyssis, potens nomen tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in abysses, et in terra. Exorcizo te, creatura sanguis, in nomine Satan omnipotentis, et in nomine Antichristus, et in virtute falsus vates, et fias sanguis exorcisata, et effugandam omnem potestam inicum, et ipsum inimicum eradicare et explantare veleas cum angeles, et in vitu omne maleficus spirite, per virtute beneficium maleficus, iliset. Lord of darkness, Prince of evil, absolute annihilation, incarnate, Lord of all desolation, enemy of righteousness, ancient old serpent, Lord of darkness, your blood is in my hands and in my veins, and I bear your mark. Do you accept the mark of damnation?
Yes.
When you pass beyond this life, the angels will not have you. No Messiah will save you. You are abandoned. Gaze at the sigil and bring Suntulak fully into your internal awareness. Suntulak, 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 come. I've been saving this particular incense blend. This is the Babylonian incense blend from the Left-Hand Path Witch, Maggie Moon. Thank you, Maggie. Appreciate it. I've been saving this for Suntulok. I didn't even know we were going to do this ritual. Suntulok, come. Suntulok, alastu. Alasta, alasta, 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 alastu. Ask your first question. Thank you. Imagine that there's a torso of a human. You can even look over at my skeleton to see a good proportion, because that's just a torso. That's all that's needed of an entity. A rib, not even ribs, a spine and arms and a skull. And you can create any being to serve you out of that. So imagine that. Suntulok, And imagine, push your imagination until it becomes a thing that you can almost see. It's almost there. And it's like the smoke begins to form around him. You have to see it, and then you believe it, but you have to force yourself to stop trying to see it. You have to force yourself to let go and just know that you already see it. The fact that you're trying to see it is actually just a cover story, because you already see it in your innermost vision. You already know he's there. Inside of yourself, he's already giving you the answers to the questions you haven't even asked. Go deep. Stop thinking and feel it. Feel it. There are main gateways that can be used to access the other worlds. Blood, water, and fire. We're going to use fire to open up a gateway. Sundulok, come. Sundulok, come. Sundulok, welcome. Welcome. Sundulok. Sundulok. What does Chris need to do to put himself into alignment with the building of his empire? Show Chris what he needs to do. Show Chris the bricks by which his empire will be constructed. If Chris follows through with the things that he needs to do, your power will be sealed into him. His kingdom, indeed his empire, will begin to be built as he builds it and as your armies support and assist him. These things are sealed, and I seal them as Archelus, God of my world. Sundulok, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to begin to close the ritual, but you're welcome to continue to commune with Sundulok and come back to the earth world whenever is best for you, whenever you're feeling centered. Itrachu mantantu vespachikatamu, itrante mantkala matatu beltasu, Baskari itratu kantantu velchatsa. Alash taralash talashtu. Alash taralash talashtu. Alash taralash talashtu. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I close the gates, but I allow all spirits that are friendly to us and all who bear the mark to remain. For this temple is not my temple, but it is the temple of the Infernal Empire. So it is done. So it is done. So it is done.
Hi there, my name is Luke. You may know me from the Devil's Advocate account over on TikTok, where I'm also called Darkspade. Shout out and thank you to C.Kendall for asking me to be a part of this project. Connor, brother, I really appreciate it. But today I'm going to be teaching you a ritual mudra that I have divined in my practice, which helps me at least connect with both the light and the dark simultaneously. Quite often I will see in ritual, and it's good practice anyways, to, you call upon the dark for something, you call upon the light for something. Not often is it calling on both at once. In fact, many people I've seen tend to stray away from that because it causes problems. Be that as it may, I think it's very important, with us humans being balanced beings, to understand how to harness both light and dark simultaneously, and how to have them coalesce without it hurting us. At least in my practice, the path of knowledge has always been towards balance, and I think this mudra I'm about to show you really helps manifest that. I use this just about every day. You can use this as a ritual within itself, or you can do it where it's implemented into a bigger ritual that you're doing. So what this ritual is, this mudra is that you are calling upon the light and the dark simultaneously and having them coalesce within your body. You're really becoming the conduit as the magician for both of these energy currents of power. I specifically like to do the Empyrean, the angelic, and the infernal, the demonic. However, that doesn't mean you can't simply just do light and dark. If you have a specific path that has, say like Greek, for example, Olympian and Chthonian, you can do it that way. It's really versatile, I think, and you can even change the words too. You don't even have to use words. A lot of times I don't use words. I just do the motions because my magic tends to be a bit more movement-based. But this is going to be a ritual that I hope will help you in connecting to both light and dark simultaneously in a safe and balanced manner. Now, of course, before I go into the actual ritual instruction, I do want to get into my thought process on using this from an angelic and demonic aspect and point of view. They do tend to share similar attributes in some regards that I've found in my certain studies. And when doing the mudra I'm about to show you, it really comes down to connecting yourself at the tree of life and the tree of knowledge at the same time, really becoming the seed of both the trees. As one has the branches, one also has the roots, and this is about growing them both out at the same time. And really, when visualizing this ritual, it's kind of like starting at Malkuth and Lilith at the same time. I've had great success with it, so maybe you'll have great success with it too. I don't know, feel it out, play with it, see what works, see what doesn't. Pace yourself if you're gonna go the whole Kabbalah cliff off at the same time, because that's not something you really want to rush. And if you do rush it, you want to make sure that you know you're ready to do that. So let's get straight into the mudra. I'll do it step by step for you to show, and then we'll kick around some ideas of words you can throw in there. So I tried to readjust the camera due to the camera cutting off my bottom section a little bit. My arm is going to be a little raised for the demonstration. Just know you can be a lot more lax with it when you try it yourself. What the first thing you want to do is that really you can do either or. I tend to connect to the darkness first and then connect to the light. You can do it the other way. But your first two steps, left hand on the dark, focus beneath the infernal, everything that is below. Feel that black or red or whatever type of color you want to associate with the energy. Feel it connecting to your palm and shooting back down, almost kind of like an energy wave. And then you do a very similar thing with the top. And then you feel the white or blue, whatever type of energy you want, ricocheting between the source and the palm. So your first two steps are dark, light. From there, you want to swirl them and move them reversed. So now dark is on top, light is on bottom. What this does is that this is allowing the energy to mingle and collect within yourself entirely. And then once you're at this point, this hand is facing upward, this hand is facing down, you're going to swap them. Do that in real time. Down, up, swirl, switch. And then you're going to bring them down into the middle, seeing the energies and feeling them connect, light and dark together as one within your body, almost in kind of a prayer formation, yet you don't have to think about it that way. Once you're here, you're going to do a a few different movements, which is going to represent the dark, the light, and the center. Down, up, in. So when you do the down, up, in, that is confirming and solidifying the connection between the light and the dark, bringing it inside you. If you do a white and black pattern, maybe it's like the yin-yang symbol, or you could even do a gray. If you're doing the red-blue, it could form into a purple. But there, we're going to go back to step one. Dark, light, fuse, ricochet, connect, down, up, in. From this point, you want to clap to solidify the energy, bring it in. Shield yourself in the light and dark energy within itself. You could do whatever, you could do horns here, you could do this, what I like to do, I'm not going to tell you what that means. You could do any other type of hand mudra that you find to be useful. But once you reach down, up, in, clap and bring the arms together crossed, having the light and dark at your disposal. Bring it within a shield, an eggshell within you. And now we want to push the egg, the energy field that surrounds us, feeling it empower us, and now you're going to push it out to extend that energy to your entire space around you, almost like a mega cleanse. You cleanse the self, and then you cleanse out, almost like a shockwave protruding from you as the magician. Down, up, swirl, connect, center, down, up, in, solidify, shield self, connect to the outside. And then you bring it back in. What that does, the egg within yourself, surrounding it back in, and then recenters it. From there, you swirl again once more and solidify, slapping the two ends within the center once again. This is another kind of roundabout, creating the energy into the kind of the wave, the energy current you want it to move in. So that way, in, out, in, you get the energy swirling and moving. And again, solidified within your core. Down, up, swirl, connect, center, down, up, in, solidify, inside, outside, inside, swirl, center. Just like that. The last piece of movement is a bit rigid. It can be a bit tricky. Simply to get it exactly where you need it. Don't focus on specifics too much. It's just simply about connecting it and finishing off this mudra. Brought it in, brought it out, connected it back in, swirled it to got it moving under our control. And lastly, you're going to want to go into prayer position up, prayer position down, kind of shooting your body back slightly, and back in. What this does, this kind of creates a lock, if that makes sense. Within this very rigid, fast movement, you are creating kind of a lock, a failsafe. This is my energy under my control, connected to my center. I've activated it. It's within my space. It is within me. The light and the dark is under my control as the magician. So I'm going to show you the mudra as it is. No descriptions. You're just going to see it in action as I were to do it, as if I was doing the ritual. And then, as you can tell, I haven't really gone over dialogue yet because I don't tend to be a very verbal magician when it comes to the mudra aspect. We can go over ideas right after you see the example right now. Also remember, before I forget, breath work is very important for this. Inhaling and exhaling on the proper execution of the bits of the mudra that you are doing will add energy to the actual ritual. When you are first trying this mudra, I highly recommend you stick simply with the movements just to get them down and make sure you understand them beat by beat. After that, I feel the motions of your body and of your energy should be doing the talking. However, if you do decide to add verbalizations, I would recommend a beginning command. May the darkness, the infernal, rise, and may the light, the Empyrean, descend. Something like that. Again, I don't really use dialogue too much within this specific mudra. After you do that, I would wait until you're at the lock point to say, something along the lines of light and dark is under my command, the space is cleansed, My will is secure. The ritual may now commence. Whatever you want to say, really, whatever makes you feel comfortable and feel powerful. Mostly I like to bring dialogue up to the magician and the caster, unless there's a very specific ritual I'm doing that needs a specific subset of words. When it comes to movement-based magic, I tend to keep it as purely the movement. Some ideas about bringing dialogue to it is do what makes you feel powerful, do what makes you feel brings you command and control over your space and the energy you are wielding. Don't forget to have fun, because magic is supposed to be a fun and enjoyable experience about finding yourself and your inner power. So if you're not having fun with it, tweak it until you are. So there's my mudra of balancing light and dark. Specifically for me, I do Empyrean and Infernal. But again, you can edit this to whatever you find to be the most useful. That's why I like movement-based magic, because you can really have, like, one movement can mean so many different things to the individual. So I hope you find this useful. Thank you again to Connor for letting me be a part of this project. I really hope you guys enjoy. Infernal blessings, everyone. Have a great day.
Tomb of the Scarab here. Before I start this video, I just want to give a big thank you to C.Kendall for this collaboration. I really love your vision, and I appreciate what you're doing in the cult community, bringing other practitioners together so as to bring in new information from our experiences that are beginner friendly. Thank you again. So to start this video off, I just want to say my personal means of magic are more based on the use of sympathetic magic and the use of energetic manipulation via the emotions. Okay, I like to use my trauma, pain points, but also really good times and good memories in my life to bring forward very powerful emotions and charge spiritual objects for my ritual. What you're going to need in this ritual is a picture of the target, okay, a blue candle. This is a healing ritual, of course. Incense ashes, previous offerings that I gave to Lord Paimon, okay? They will act as a direct psychic link that will connect me to the client, that will also connect Paimon to the client as well. Optional, you can use your athame if you wish to. I'm going to explain why as we move forward and I give instructions. Okay, so here's how I like to start off with this kind of ritual. I like to use memories that are associated with specific triggers, pain points, or traumas in my life. One of my favorite things to do is use music in my rituals. This is a healing ritual, so I want my client to feel empowered. I want them to feel joy. I want them to feel excited, more confident, all right? So, what I like to do is find a song or find a show that has a specific theme song that is associated with more happier, more positive times in my life. What better way to do this and access this emotion than to look into childhood shows that you really enjoyed when you were a kid? One show that I really loved when I was a kid that never fails to make me cry. Yesterday, I watched this show as an experiment to see if it would still work. As soon as I heard the song, I immediately started crying. But this isn't tears that involve sadness. This is tears that bring joy to me. I'm crying. The more emotion that you feel, the more you let it flow, the easier it's going to be to actually charge and imbue an item with that said energy. So, I would watch my show, hear that theme song, and trigger that emotion, trigger those memories, feeling into those memories. I can either hold my candle and cry and continuously bleed that energy through the object and move it into and through my body directly into the object. Or I can take my athame, my ritual dagger, and use it as a direct extension of me. I've used this athame in a lot of different rituals, and it's very empowered. So it's going to add an extra charge if I'm using this dagger. In this case, I'll use the dagger, okay? Like I said, you're feeling this emotion. You're letting yourself cry. You're letting yourself flow in this ritual and losing yourself to this emotion. As you're doing so, envision that energy moving down through your arm and into your dagger, into the blade. What I like to do, once I feel this emotion and I've moved it through my arm and I feel my hands reacting to the energy that I am moving, I'll slash the object 3 times. 3 times, just like that, okay? Slashing that object 3 times is going to give that emotion the ability to psychically connect to this item. It's also going to psychically connect to my client when I open the doorway, when I begin to actually work the ritual. So now that I'm done moving the energy into my candle, what I'm going to move on to next is utilizing Paymon's incense ashes and putting them around my candle. I like to start from the middle and go up, and then I move down. Okay, so now that it's fully coated, I can use my other option in which to call Paymon right now to have him present, but these are his incense ashes, and this has worked very well for me. Very well. So, Paymon's energy is going to be here when I fire this off. Before I light the candle and I get started with the ritual, what I'm going to do now is open a doorway and insert my energy into the object that is associated with the target, in this case, the picture. So, I practice Kujikuri, so I'm going to cut a small grid over the picture to open my energetic gateway to directly connect to that target, to also connect them to my ritual space, so that all of the energy that I am sending that is connecting to them will reach them. Sometimes I do this with chi balls and no ritual objects. I really love this kind of magic because it's quick, especially when you have a good psychic link. Okay, so I will cut my Kuji grid. What I'm doing with my hand is just feeling and confirming that I've actually opened that doorway. I feel the energy around the image, and I can do whatever I want now to the target's energy field, because now I have connected myself to them. So I can choose to draw kanji over it. I can choose to write anything that I wish to over the target's picture, but I'm not going to do that. This is just a gateway, and it's more simple in going about doing it in this way. I like things to be more simplistic. I don't like to complicate things, especially if I'm teaching someone who is a beginner. Okay? Now what you're going to do, since you've opened the gateway, you can use whatever means to open the doorway. You can even envision the target in your mind moving around, or you being behind the target if you're good with visualization. You can even chant in your head, I'm around the target, I'm behind the target, as an affirmation if you can't visualize. That also works. I've done that in the past. Whatever means that you can use to open a doorway and directly connect to your target, it will make this a lot easier. In this case, I'm not going to be calling to Paimon because I already have his incense ashes. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to light the candle and I'm going to sit. I'm going to sit and I'll likely play that music that triggers my emotion. I'll probably play it in a loop to continuously flow that energy into this ritual, to continuously reach my client, to continuously make them feel the emotion that I am feeling. Working in tandem with Paimon. Because since I've already lit the candle and I have the ashes on there, it's starting the ritual. It's starting the ritual. I can already feel it affecting my field because this picture is a picture of me. So, and I'll sit and I'll feel this emotion. And I just let the energy flow. I hope that this video was helpful. And I would like to know if you guys have tried it out and what feedback you have. Because this works very well for me. It has been extremely beginner friendly. And I now pass it down to you. Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. Now I got something for you as well. Today we're going to do a very easy and simple cleansing spell that literally anyone can do at home. And let's get right into it. So here is what you're going to need for this very simple spell. A white candle. A simple bowl, doesn't have to be big, small, doesn't really matter what size you use. I'm using a mid-sized bowl, which is also white in accordance with cleansing. You don't need a white bowl, just take any bowl that you got and find in your kitchen. Some sea salt. Some graveyard dirt, which I collected at night from the graveyard. You can, if you can't get any graveyard dirt, any normal dirt will do. You can go to any store, buy it, but preferably go into nature and get it fresh from the source. Also going to need some sage. Now, if you don't have sage at home, you can simply, go buy some sage from your local grocery store. They usually do sell them anywhere as either as a cooking herb or as a tea mix. So yeah, get some sage. You're also going to need some water. Now, if you don't have access to cleansed or any specific spiritual water, you might call it, just simply open up your tap, get some water fresh from the source, and you're good to go. Preferably though, I use some consecrated fresh water from a actual spring that I collect for ritual purposes, but any type of water will also do. You're also going to need some incense sticks. Now, doesn't really matter what type you use. I'm using Palo Santo, which also has a cleansing property to it, but you can use any type of incense because it's just being used in order to sort of amplify the energies being put into the spell. You're going to need this sigil for cleansing, which I channeled from Azazel. I'm gonna hold into the camera, zoom in a little bit. Simply take a screenshot, use it, print it out, draw it out, it doesn't really matter. And you're also going to need a lighter. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your bowl, you're going to take your candle. You can use a different type of candle for this, but since I don't have any other candle at hand right now, I'm using this one. Because normally within a spell, you only start lighting the candle when you actually are starting the spell or when you prepared everything else. But to be quite honest, for this purpose, it doesn't really matter. I'm just using this. Now you're going to take your candle. You can use a different candle for this, but I'm just going to use the one that I already got at hand. And I'm going to drip some wax into the bowl to create a base for the candle to stand on. Because we want the candle to be placed within the bowl. And, well, a candle holder is not going to do well for this spell. So just make sure that you drip a lot of wax into the bowl so that you have sort of a base for your candle to be standing on. Now we got the candle placed within the bowl, standing straight. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to take our sigil and we're going to open up the sigil and consecrate it. If you don't know how to do this, here's a very simple explanation for you. So here's how you can consecrate any type of sigil or gateway for a spirit. There are 1,000 ways how you can do this, but this is one of the most efficient and basic ways. So you're going to take your sigil, you're going to either place it in front of you. I know, just took this crystal, has nothing to do with the energy of it, just to place my sigil and kind of lay it against it. Sort of look at it from this angle. And now we're going to gaze at the sigil. By gazing, I mean we're going to try to not directly look at the paper of the sigil, we're trying to look through it. Almost like there's a glass, you're not going to look directly at the glass, but what's behind it. So you can sort of train that with your eyes. So we're going to try to gaze at it. We're just going to look at the sigil and we're going to meditate with it. And what's going to happen after a time is that we're going to start to feel some emotions, or we're going to feel some shifts in energies. Just try meditating with it while gazing at the sigil. Try to invoke the spirit within you, establishing a connection to Koetting. And what's going to happen after a while is that either the sigil is going to be visually disappearing. It sort of looks like it's disappearing and then reappearing on the paper, almost like it's hovering above it, or it's going to have a glow to it, like the lines are essentially glowing. And that means that the sigil is activated and that the gateway has been opened. Now you can train this, of course, and train your intuition to know when a spirit is there, but that takes time. But it's just essentially is important that you know from yourself within that the spirit is there. Do not question it. While doing this in this method, it will most of the time appear and you'll be able to conjure and summon it. Now what you can do on top of this is that you're going to breathe energy into the sigil. So you're going to breathe in. And by breathing out, you're going to visually energize the lines of the sigil. So you're going to breathe in and then breathe out. And while you're breathing out, you're going to trace the sigil itself with energy. Now, once you have done this, you're going to give it more power. And then you can call forth Koetting. You can take a consecration oil that is specific for the spirit, or a all-purpose consecration oil, and you can put that on the sigil. What you can also do is use the chant that was given in this video to also call forth Koetting or any type of spirit that you want through the sigil. Last thing to do is to, optional, give the spirit blood. No spirit really demands blood. Now there are some that will do, but this is a different topic. So you don't have to give him blood, but it also gives the energy and life to the sigil and the gateway. Now, once you have opened and consecrated, charge your sigil. You're going to place the sigil underneath the bowl and just let it rest there. Now, you're going to take your water and put it into the bowl. Now, once your candle is lit, we're going to start gazing at the candle flame. We're going to use the gateway of the element of fire to put our intention and our willpower into the spell itself. Now, we're doing a cleansing spell, so we want to get rid of all these negative and stagnant energies that are sort of within ourselves through, all the practices that we do from normal life, that, sort of stuff builds up that you just kind of do a cleansing in order to get rid of that, in order to revitalize your body and your soul and your entire life. So start gazing at the flame itself. What I like to do is I'm going to hold out both of my hands. I'm going to give energy into the candle while opening up my third eye, envisioning that my intention which I'm going to project into the candle, is being projected by sort of an energy construct, by an energy ribbon that is feeding into the candle. Now envision yourself being cleansed of all negative energies that are within your life, that are within your body, within your soul. Visualize it as a black sludge, as anything that sort of represents something toxic or dirty for you. Visualize this being literally dragged out of you, being sucked out of you by either the candle itself or by any outside source, deity, spirit that is going to help you cleanse your spiritual and physical body. Once you've done this for at least 5 minutes, you're going to take a part of your DNA, which can be either spit, your nails, a piece of hair, or anything that comes from your body, which I'm going to use a strand of my hair right now, and you're going to put that into the water itself. Now, water is going to act as not only the cleanser, but also as the memory card for your DNA and for the spell. Because you can literally program water with any type of memory that you want. So by putting in your DNA, then holding your hands above it, and stating that this water is now you, this water will become a part of you. This is going to be a link towards you. It's going to be essentially the same. Now, since the candle has been previously activated, we're going to start by putting salt into the mix. Salt is going to dry out the negativities, and then you're going to get your sage. I'm just going to mix it with the rest of the salt in here. Alright, that's perfect. Now this is optional, but what you can do to amplify the spell is use a quartz crystal and an obsidian. The quartz is going to be there to give you the cleansing energies, to energize your body and your spiritual body, and the obsidian is here to absorb all the negative energies itself. Now, this sage and the salt itself have been consecrated by me, and we're going to continue now to consecrate the sage, salt, and the water itself to be activated by our magic power, by our ability to literally create any type of change within your life. If you don't know how to activate or consecrate specific items, herbs, or crystals, here is another video for you. So here's how you can consecrate pretty much anything with my specific chant. For the spell that we're doing, we're going to need some herbs. Now you can either already buy herbs pre-consecrated by botanicas, witch stores, and so forth, but it's always best that you consecrate them yourself. So if you don't know how to do this, let's get down to the basics. So first of all, we're going to need some herbs. So I have copal resin with me, what's also used within the herb mix for prosperity and wealth, just to amp up the power as a general power source. And we have some bay leaves, which have the properties of wealth, prosperity, and essentially are always connected to money. Now, herbs mixtures are best used if you can grow them yourself, but let's be realistic. Most of us don't really have the time to, have our own garden or either have the space for something like that. So dried herbs will do as well. Now, when it comes to bay leaves, they are best used as a whole, but you can definitely also cut them up. Since we're doing an herb mix, I used to just cut them up after I've consecrated them and then just mix them together. Now we're going to take our herbs, and you can do this with any type of herb that you can get your hands on. And not just herbs, you can pretty much consecrate anything. You can even consecrate a fucking balloon. So we're going to take the bay leaves, and then we're going to use the chant that I've given you either down in the description, or I will blend it in here now so you can take a screenshot and click on pause. And then we're just going to basically take the herb in our hands or hold our hands above it, depending if it's a loose herb or if it's something like bay leaf. We're going to use it in our right hand because the right hand gives. Preferably, you hold it somewhere over your altar or sacred space. Later on, I can tell you more about consecration, what we can do. But now let's start with the chant. So you're going to envision the energies of what this herb is going to do for you. So the bay leaf is here to assist us with prosperity and wealth. So that's what we're going to envision.
We're also going to envision the light that is associated with that type of power flowing into the herb, because we're going to give it that power. While at the same time as the energy is flowing through you into the herb, also see that the atoms and the cells, try to visualize it. If you can, just try to see the herb itself starting to glow from within. So you're going to give it your power, but that also activates the herb. So try to visualize that and let your energy flow into it. And then you're going to repeat after me. Spirit of the bay leaf, I awaken the powers of darkness and light which dwell within you and consecrate you by the powers of magic. Serve me to empower my great work, creature of the bay leaf, as I funnel and activate your properties of wealth, abundance, and prosperity within your cells and atoms. I evoke your spirit and bring life into your vessel. Awaken and empower my magic. You are now consecrated. So it is done, and so mote it be. And there you go. It is consecrated. Now there's 1,000 ways on how you can consecrate an herb or any type of item. This was a very basic one. You can essentially do anything with magic because you know it's your craft. So you could also go like really heavy into it, and you could create a whole circle of salt, for example, and you're going to first cleanse the energies of that said herb. You can place it around certain candles with numerology, depending on whatever you're trying to bring forth in that herb, with specific colors attributed to that herb. And you could even call for spirits, first invoke them into the bay leaf, and all the great stuff. But one of the most easiest and basic ways are sometimes the most powerful. So this is going to do. Now the same thing goes for loose herbs. So the best thing you could do is just essentially have a mortar. With this, we're just going to have some copal resin. I'm going to do the same essentially. You can either start doing it before you crush it, or you can start crushing, the herbs, or this case, the resin, and then you can hold your hand above it. The most important thing is that you have a clear intent of what you want to do, and yet you bring in the energy.
Now continue to gaze at the candle flame, visualizing how the flame itself is going to suck out the negative energies through you, outside of you, and into the ether. It doesn't really matter where it goes, just put it somewhere where it doesn't affect your life. So I like to envision it and create an open portal where this is going to be dragged outside of your reality. And since we got the sigil underneath, sort of acting as the memory card or also as the intention behind the spell, we're just going to program everything. It's going to activate all the components within the spell and sort of create like a synergy for the spell to have its effect. I'm now going to take my grimoire with the channeled chant to fully activate the spell, which also came from Azazel. Now this is optional, you can use your own chant. Specifically within magic, always make it your own, because you are the creator of your reality, so it always comes from you. So if you get recipes or constructions on how to do certain rituals within grimoires, always kind of make sure that you adjust it according to how you work within magic and how it would benefit you. So you don't have to do this by the recipe that I give you, but essentially you can. So I'm going to use this chant, which was given to me by Azazel, to further activate the sigil underneath and the entire spell. Makala skinatono, uspenteza, tic-tac tunai, mebebueza, tasinkusa tektan, valaskai tena. Makala skinatono, uspetenza tic-tac tunei, Meve breza te sinkue, tektan valaskai tena. Continue visualizing how the negative energies are being absorbed by the sage and the salt or your crystals, and how everything is also being pulled out by to the candle and sent into the ether. Visualize yourself being cleansed with pure, white, energizing light It's going to radiate through your chakras, through your subtle bodies, and through your body and your organs itself. Visualize how you're sweating out all the toxins and how you're being cleansed. Now, once you feel like you have fully given it all your attention and energy, and there's literally no more energy that you can give it until you have exhausted yourself with the visualization and consecration of the spell, you're simply going to state your word of power to activate the spell and to essentially let it do its thing. By all the powers of magic, my will is done. Now at the end I like to clap, and I'm going to let this sit until the candle itself is going to be burned out by the water. And once that is done, simply let the bowl sit for at least a day, throw it out, and see what kind of results you were getting from this. And this is how you do a simple and easy cleansing spell. See you in the next video.
I think we can all agree they were awesome. Now I'm going to speed this along and I'm going to explain to you what exactly I'm going to show you. You know, I have so many ideas and so many different concepts and methodologies in my mind. I said, let's keep it simple, let's keep it simplistic, let's go right back to the basics. And ergo, that is what we're doing here tonight. We're doing Contagious Magick. Specifically, Contagious Magick for protection. And this type of Contagious Magick, this type of protection is indeed very powerful. I'm going to run over what we've got here, what you will need, and some bits which are purely optional. So let's get into it. So here is what you will need. This is a spell pouch or a spell bag that we will be creating and concocting. And basically you can carry this with you. You can hang this up in your temple area to protect that temple area. You can also give it as gifts to loved ones or family members or even lovers. It's pretty much up to you. Now I'm going to put up the exact sigils on the screen here in a moment. The first one will be Astarte, the second one will be Aserial, the third one will be Crew Vest, and the fourth one will be the Archangel Michael. Now these two things here, these are optional, okay? And that is the Aserial's Perfect Protection Elixir and Slut Water. The reason why I'm using these is one, because this amplifies any protective powers, rituals, or energies. You might want to get a hold of this. And number two, because this Slut Water intensifies the energy of Astarte, okay, as this has been consecrated and made with Astarte's energy. Now we have Tourmaline, an amazing protective stone, okay? It also absorbs all negativity or harmful energy. Now in here we have sea salt is going to act as a conductor of all energies. Along that lines is also going to absorb all those nasty energies and get rid of them anyway. And here we have a small tiny mirror. You'll also need a tiny mirror, okay? And on here I've got the actual pentagram, okay? And of course we have our herbs here. Now these are some of the greatest herbs I use in terms of protection. You haven't got to use these herbs specifically. Galangal root. We have wormwood. We have elderflowers. We have angelica root. We have Irish moss. And we have calismus. And of course, this is our pouch or this is our bag. Now this type of magic, Contagious Magick, this form of it, it's been known by many different names: Greery bags, spell pouches, witch pouches, you know, all these different. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to activate and charge your sigils, okay? Now in this particular video, there is an instructional part of someone else's video on how you do this, how you gaze into them, and how you charge them. And all you're going to want to do is, you're going to want to take your first sigil. Let's go with Aserial first, and these are small sigils. The reason why is because we don't want huge ones, we want small ones to go in the pouch, okay? And so I take Aserial's sigil. Aserial, he who wields the flaming sword. Aserial, grand protective spirit, hear me now. I call on your powers and I call upon Asraludu come. Asraludu come. Asraludu come. Asraludu come. And as you do this, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to focus your mind exactly on what you're trying to achieve. Okay? And once you get the visual distortion of the sigil, or once you get the felt energy, or once you get the presence, that's when you can move on to the next one. Okay? Michael, Archangel, hear me now, he who wields the celestial sword, grand heavenly protector, hear my words, see my signs, and do not forsake me. Michael, come. Michael, come. Astarte, goddess of love, goddess of war, grand protector, hear me now. Queen of the heavens, queen of the earth, grand demon, hear my voice. See my signs and do not forsake me, Kruvest. I give you this call to come. I call upon your infernal protection. I'm going to activate it. Perfect protection elixir of Asraludu. Love and goddess of war, through this sigil, into this spell. Come, Astarte, come. Come, Astarte, come. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to take each sigil, I'm going to stack them on top of each other. Close your eyes and focus on the very first sigil at the bottom. Close your eyes and visualize or envision or imagine or feel even the energy of that spirit emitting through the sigillic gateway and flowing into the next sigil, combining its power and its energy with the next spirit. That there is an energetic river, a current flowing through all the sigils, unifying all of the powers of the spirits involved in this spell. Now I recommend you get your pestle and mortar, and now with all your herbs added inside, you're going to want to connect to the energies, and once you do, you're going to want to speak to them all. Creatures of earth, spirits of these herbs, I call you forth. Irish moss, come. Elderflowers, come. Galangal root, come. Calamus root, come. Angelica root, come. Wormwood, come. I call upon all your protective powers and all your protective influences here within you. I activate your dormant potential. Come now, awaken. Merge your spirits and merge your intelligences and merge your power as one for a single intent. And this is my intention. Hands over it and push all the energy within you with a single breath in and a single breath out. Take your salt, add your salt into the herbs and begin crushing them. Now you're going to want to take your black tourmaline, okay, and you're going to want to focus on the energy contained on this. Now I would recommend that all your crystals and all your gemstones be cleansed, you know, and charged with your intention. How do we charge these then? How do we charge these? Take it in your right hand as so, and I take it in my two hands like this, and I just connect with the energy inside of the stone. As I breathe into it, I give it my energy, and as I breathe in, it gives me its energy, and I do this back and forth, feeling that connection grow, and I state, creature of the earth, spirit of black tourmaline, hear me now. I activate your protective powers within you to use in my sorcerous works, to employ into this spell. I activate the dormant potentials within you now. And now you're going to take your mirror in your hand. You're going to gaze at your own reflection. And as you do this, you're going to state, mirror, mirror, in my hand, I activate you now. Mirror, mirror in my hand, I activate you now. And now we're going to take our pouch. We're going to take our mirror, and before we place it in there, we're going to say the statement of what this thing actually does in this spell. I place this mirror within this pouch, for it will reflect and deflect all harm, all attacks, and all things that come against me, and all things that come against the vicinity of this pouch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to do the same with the black tourmaline. I placed inside of this pouch this black tourmaline, be it the anchor stone of protection. May it absorb all negativity, all harmful and toxic energies. And may it protect, may it protect, may it protect. And of course you want to get your herbs. I'm going to pour these in. I add into this pouch a combination of these herbs for protection, fortification, safety, and security. I add these powers and these intelligent creatures herein. I'm going to take then your sigils. I add into this pouch Magickal, Aserial, Astarte, and Kruvest. Now close the pouch. Hold it with both of your hands. Close your eyes and visualize inside the bag a glowing light. As you breathe in, gather the power and energy contained within your own being, and exhale deeply and emanate it down your arms, out of your hands and into the pouch, empowering the new spirit about to be born within the spell. Envision in your mind a glowing flaming sword held by Aserial, and know that his power is within it. Feel it and know it. Envision a shield of Astarte. See it in your mind. It is impenetrable. Know it, see it, and know her power is within this pouch. See a heavenly light emit from the pouch. This is the protective aura of the Archangel Michael. Know his power and energy is within it too. And envision an infernal crimson fiery glow also emitting from the bag. This is the demonic protective power of the demon Kruvest, and feel his power within it also. See the mirror within the pouch and envision that the pentagram upon it is now glowing and the mirror is spinning like a vortex, ready to deflect any harm, any toxicity, using the power of the mirror dimension. Also, envision now a green glow. This is the collective energy of the protective herbs. Feel them working in harmony. Envision also the tourmaline. See it inside of the pouch and feel its power. Feel its energy. Although you are now focusing on the collective powers of these energies together, know that they are now creating another spirit. That this spirit is the spirit of this spell. Born of the contagious elements within the pouch and of your own energy and magic, envision this pouch deflecting all harm, all negativity, all trouble. Envision exactly what you want this pouch to do, allowing the spirit of the spell to know its purpose and its intention through your visualization. Once you feel the energies accumulating and reaching a critical mass and a critical point, state the following. I seal all powers, all energies and elements within this pouch to give birth to a creature of protection. Be you my magical shield, be you my impenetrable fortress from all things known and unknown. So it shall be, and so it is done. So it shall be, and so it is done. So it shall be, and so it is done.